Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Here's a story about a parking nightmare involving a woman who thought she could outsmart the system and ended up paying the price. Literally. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. Karen thinks parking rules need not apply to her and her husband. I work as a dispatcher for a parking company that manages a large university's parking for them. This university has a medical center with its own associated garages where this all took place. Everyone hates us. My job is to liaise between our various departments and outside calls from the university departments. What's also my job is to be the guy who answers the help button that you see on garage machines. We have garage key cards, and usage rules are pretty simple. You go in X garage, you go out X garage, you can't go in X and out Y, etc. And sharing does not work as the system catches this misuse and denies the bad scan attempt. This lady never got the message. Story. I was looking at the live feed of garage transactions, tickets pulled, tickets paid, key cards used, etc. when I get a big red message in the log, key card rejected, already inside, customer name and key card number. I watched them scan a few more times while I checked the key card activity, and lo and behold, it was used at another garage to get in about an hour ago. It's also the highest level, most expensive key card we have. We get a call from that gate, and I tell the other on-duty dispatcher that I'll take it and force the call onto my phone. The following dialogue is from memory. Me. Hello, parking company. How may I help you? Karen. Yes, my key card won't let me scan in. It says I'm already inside, but I'm obviously not. The number of different people who say, but I'm obviously not, when they misuse their key card makes me wonder if it's some kind of cult where they all agree to say that. Me. Okay, ma'am, can I get the key card number so I can take a look and see what's going on? I get her key card number, and it's the one I was looking at. I pretend I'm looking it up, etc., while I type up an email I was sending from another call. Me. Okay, ma'am, I see here that the key card was used about an hour ago at 5:45 to enter garage X. How did you exit garage X? Karen. Oh, I didn't. That was my husband. Me. Your husband, ma'am? Why is he using your key card? Karen. Because we both work at the hospital and his key card doesn't work at garages. Me. Okay, ma'am, that's not how you're supposed to use your key card. It's for you and you only to use. Karen. What? But I pay over $1,000 a year for this key card. You need to let me in. Me. Ma'am, I understand that you pay, actual price, a bit under $1,000, amount of money for this key card. You need to ensure you use it correctly. The only way you can enter the garage is for your husband to leave so your key card is reading you as out, to pull a ticket that you'll have to pay for, or to wait while we send somebody out to fill out a key card review form that'll result in a $47 fine for key card misuse and will reset your key card. But then your husband will be unable to exit the garage. Karen. You need to reset it right now. You need to keep it reset so my husband and I can use it whenever we need to. Me. Ma'am, that's not how your key card works and is in direct violation of the terms you accepted and signed when you purchased your key card. It says on your key card that you must use it to enter and exit a garage and that sharing is prohibited. Karen. You need to let me into the garage right now. I'm going to be late for work. How's that my problem, lady? I love when people pull this excuse. Sounds like a you problem. Budget your time better. Well, since she doesn't want to play by the rules, I decided to give her the $47 fine option. Me. Okay, ma'am, I'll send out a field supervisor to fill out the form needed to reset your key card and allow you to enter the garage. He's in the area and should be there very soon. Karen. Finally, I'll wait here for them. Thanks for wasting my time. Click. No problem, lady. My pleasure to waste your precious time. The supervisor gets over there and writes out the form, and of course she squawks at the fine I told her about. Epilogue. I come in for my next shift and decide to take a look at the account. She has 2 more key card misuse fines on her customer account. Her husband left before her, so the key card didn't work, so we wrote up the form and reset it to let him out because he didn't want to pay for a lost ticket. She goes to leave, and of course it won't work for her, so we do another reset form because she didn't want to pay for a lost ticket fee either. Well, it says right on all 3 of her forms, but I'm sure she didn't read it. It's 3 strikes and you're out, Karen. Third fine jumps up to like $344.50, and your account's reviewed to see if we want to continue allowing you to use your key card. I forwarded the call record number from my call with her to the manager who reviewed the case so he could hear what she said, and we canceled her key card due to her poor attitude/demands, her multiple fines in a 24-hour period, and, as with most Karens, she lied in the appeal she filed for the fines. She said that somebody stole her key card and was using it without her knowledge, so the fine should be revoked. Have fun paying $16 plus every time you park, thanks to you thinking the rules weren't for you. By my maths, if they both work full-time, then buying a second key card would be roughly $6,000 cheaper per year than what they ended up with due to their bad attitude. And our second story. Sorry, you told me to leave you alone. When I was around 15 or 16, a friend and I went to the local mall on the weekend to hang out and hit the arcade. After a bit, we decided to get a drink at the food court. While we were standing in line, an older man, late 30s or early 40s, looking like he just got out of the gym, decided to cut in the line in front of us. The line was fairly long at this point, around 10 deep. They had the best lemonade in the mall. I tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Sir, we're in line here." He shot us a look and turned back around, pretty much ignoring the fact that we were there. When he got near to the register, he reached into his pocket to take out his wallet. As he did so, a wad of cash fell onto the floor unnoticed by him. As rude as he was, I was raised to be courteous and respectful. I picked up the cash and said, "Excuse me, sir," at which point he replied, without even turning to look at me, "Shut up and leave me the F alone." I turned back to look at the older gentleman behind us who just smiled and shrugged, so I placed the cash in my pocket. When it was time for him to pay, he opened his wallet to discover that there was no cash in it. He quickly turned and scanned the floor. When he didn't find the money, he asked us if we'd seen him drop it. My friend said, "Can't help you. We were told to shut up and leave you the F alone." He was a bit spicy. He ranted, but in the end, he walked away without his money. Turned out there was $147 in there. A nice haul for a broke kid in the early 90s. Another time, when I was just a little older, I'd gone to Wally World. I purchased something fairly inexpensive and paid the cashier. She handed me back around $87 in change. I said, "Ma'am, I think you gave me the wrong change." She looked at it and told me that she had it right. I responded, "But ma'am." She cut me off, spitting mad, and went into a rant about how she was very good at math. I let her finish and simply said, "Okay, sorry to bother you, ma'am." I then took my leave. I wonder how she felt about her math skills when she counted her drawer after her shift. What I was trying to tell her was that I had paid with a 20, not a Benjamin. Wow, you did try to correct them, but then you were rewarded. Time to start making a course called How to Make Money Using Malicious Compliance. And our next story. I'm spending a lot of time in my yard making my neighbors feel like they have less privacy. My friend Julia and I are renting a row house, a small city house with neighbors' houses adjoining it on either side. Right after moving in, it seemed like the next-door neighbors on either side already didn't like it because we're renters and they don't like that the homeowner's renting the place out. We hadn't known that before moving in. Anyway, one of the reasons we really love the house is that it has a nice fenced-in backyard. We're really outdoorsy people, so having our little yard in the city was a dream come true. We've got a grill back there, an outdoor dining table, a fire pit, a bunch of string lights, hammocks, a projector that we can point at the back of the house for movie nights, a reading nook, some potted plants we care for, an outdoor heating lamp, etc. We hang out there a lot and have friends and our boyfriends over often too. Anyway, most of the time we're at home hanging out together or having people over, we're outside. The house is small and kinda old and windowless and drab, so hanging out outside is so much nicer. We grill, read books, chill by the fire, hang out with our friends, paint, etc. out there. One of my neighbors told us off for always being in the backyard. It ruins their chance to enjoy their own backyard with some privacy once in a while. He also seemed to be kind of homophobic, saying he didn't want his kids seeing our friends had over doing their thing outside, which I assume was just stuff like cuddling or being affectionate. Another of our neighbors asked kind of pointedly if there was something wrong with our kitchen, why we're always cooking and eating outside. They want to leave their kids out to play without them overhearing adult topics. I said I'd be considerate of what I say when I was outside, but as far as I know, my friends and I don't talk about anything inappropriate loud enough to be overheard from their yard. She also said something about not liking how many people who nobody in the neighborhood knows coming and going and having a straight line of sight into her backyard every day. I said, no need to be a stranger. Come by and you can meet my friends if you like. But she hasn't taken me up on it. Sounds like what's going on here is that they got used to the previous homeowners not really using the backyard. And they don't like that things are different now. And our last story. My neighbor has built a fence on my property. I have a shared drive that used to lead down to two garages, one mine and one belonging to my neighbor, John. John decided to knock his garage down a while ago and replace it with a patio. Fast forward to when we decided to knock down our garage to make way for an extension. Before we even started, we made sure to send John the plans showing that our garage would be coming down. It turns out John had used our garage wall as the retaining wall for his patio. The problem? That wall was crossing the boundary line onto our property. Since the fence on that side belongs to John, we contacted him right after our garage came down to let him know that he needed to install a new fence and deal with the retaining wall. By this point, John had moved out and was renting his house, so we didn't expect a fast response. But 6 months passed, and finally, John put up a new fence. The problem? Instead of placing it on the original boundary line, he built the fence around his patio, encroaching even further onto our property. When I tried to talk to him about it, he dismissed my concern, saying the fence was within his boundary and telling me to stop contacting him. To make matters worse, John started blaming us for damage to his patio, which had begun to sink now that our garage wall was gone. His reasoning? That our decision to remove our garage caused the sinking, even though it was his responsibility to ensure his patio was properly supported. I wasn't about to let this slide, so here's what we did. I started by organizing the documentation. This included the original surveyor's report, which clearly showed where the boundary line was, and all the communication with John about the fence and patio. We also took plenty of photos showing how the new fence encroached on our property and how his patio was sinking. We then had our attorney draft a formal letter to John. The letter laid out all the evidence and made it clear that he was crossing the boundary line. It requested that he move the fence back to its rightful place and take responsibility for the retaining wall. We also included a demand that he stop making baseless claims that we were responsible for his patio sinking. In addition to these requests, we had the attorney include a cease and desist order in the letter. This warned John against any further encroachment on our property and made it clear that we would take legal action if he didn't comply. When John refused to cooperate, we decided to take the matter to court. We won in court. John was held responsible for any costs related to the encroachment and for properly supporting his patio on his own property. In the end, John had no choice but to comply with the court's ruling. The fence was moved back to where it belonged, and he had to hire contractors to install proper supports for his patio. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.